As a joke, I said to myself, I think a video going into the lore of Fortnite would be a fun idea. Well, this is going to take some time. It all started with nothingness. Empty. Then, a big bang. An entity known as the 0 point materialized, creating endless realities, each with its own universe, and as a whole, an omniverse. With this, Reality Zero was created, the place where Fortnite Battle Royale takes place. You can actually see the 0 point on quite a few maps. You probably have seen it before and never knew it had a lore purpose. In Reality Zero, a man named Gino, a genetic scientist that only wants perfection and immortality, founded the organization Imagined Order, IO for short. IO took over the island and found the 0 point. Gino used its powers to travel to other realities, recruiting scientists from everywhere in return for immortality and the promise that IO will protect their reality. Agent Jones was the first to enter the 0 point to another reality, thus creating the character and skin Jonesy the First. IO used the 0 point with a plan to perfect multiple realities and also trapping people in the island's loop for research. Now, what is the loop? Well, if you've played Fortnite Battle Royale, you are a part of it. Lore-wise, anyways. IO would trap people on the island from other realities, wiping away their memory and ability to speak. These people trapped on the island, forced to battle, are called loopers. IO created the storm to force every participant to eventually fight, only leading to one person remaining. However, what does the winner receive? Well, IO removes the storm, removes any destruction that may have happened, and leaves the winner there, on that reality's island. They are not saved. They are not given their memories. Nothing. They are not stuck on that island forever. Gino did, however, send his 2 daughters, which we will name later, into the loop in hopes he would know that they were the best version of themselves. However, the daughters did win and escape the island, only to find that Gino has replaced them with different versions of themselves. However, not everyone agreed with IO. Eventually, 7 people came together to form a group aimed to destroy this organization. From what I can tell, the group only goes by the 7. This group consisted of the Foundation as the leader. The Cube King, a topic I decided wasn't quite needed for this current video essay, but perhaps we'll get into this one day, joins as the Origin. Gino's daughters that had escaped the loop joined as the Imagined and the Order. Following those characters, the Visitor, the Scientist, and the Paradigm joined the team. In order to stop IO, they developed suits that help them enter and leave the loop anytime without suffering from its effects. While all this is going on, there was a third party not getting involved yet. Midas sits back and watches, founding the group Shadow, an empire for espionage, intrigue, and conquest. In terms of Chapter 1, we're actually going to jump all the way to Season 3 of Chapter 1. This is when the comet appeared in the sky, something that perhaps you've seen from playing during Chapter 1. At the start of Season 4, the comet would crash into the island, the main destruction location being Dusty Depot, turning it into Dusty Divot. Smaller rocks would end up damaging Tilted Towers, the prison, and Risky Reels. Inside Dusty Divot, a group called the Government sets up a research station at the center of the crash site of the comet, where there sat a mysterious rock. The whole goal of the Government was to discover what this strange rock was, along with any other rocks the comet left behind. However, they quickly found out the visitor bursts out of the rock, travels to Villain Lair, where a film is being made, and for some reason the film set has an actually fully functioning rocket. It's incredibly wacky and hard to explain, so let's just say he took over Villain Lair for a space rocket. Good? Good. When the visitor takes over the lair, it just so happened that not only was the rocket there, but all the Comet rocks that were discovered were stored there. Using the power from the Comet rocks, he creates small rifts around the island, as well as using the rocket to open the sideways rift. These minor rifts were used to pull random objects and people to the island. You might have seen a few examples, such as the supply llamas or the Durr Burger mascot. As we enter Season 5, the sideways rift brought new areas to the island, these being Paradise Palms, the desert, Lazy Links, and Viking Village. Near the end of Season 5, however, a new group is revealed, the Last Reality, known for wanting to destroy every reality but their own. They use the sideways rift as its closing to transport an entity called the Cube to the island. Now, I'm going to continue calling this entity the Cube for the sake of the video. However, the Fortnite community gave this another name, Kevin. I don't know why, but I'm just gonna call it the Cube. At least you know now. The end of the season had the Cube rolling around the island, making runes where it touched. Loopers would see that anywhere the runes were gave a low gravity effect. Eventually, the Cube would roll through Tilted Towers, destroying buildings and make its way to Loot Lake. Once it enters the water, it would dissolve, making the lake purple and bouncy. Season 6 starts off with the Cube reforming underneath Loot Lake, forcing the island to float into the sky. The Cube would move around the island, absorbing energy from the ruins, which were particular areas on the map. After it would reach maximum capacity, it would return back to Loot Lake and release its energy into the sky, creating a portal that would send cube parts around the island, creating, essentially, monster spawners. While the Cube is filling the island with monsters, Calamity leads an army of loopers against the Cube. Eventually, they succeed and the Cube is destroyed, which actually explodes with tremendous energy, sending everyone into the in-between. The in-between can be seen like a hub or nexus. It's the realm of the 0 point that connects all realities in Fortnite. Everyone that was sucked into the in-between are quickly freed thanks to a rift butterfly, which sends them back to the island. Once they return, they find that the Cube had destroyed all the monster spawners, as well as the floating island, previously the island of Loot Lake. Left in its place was a small crater with flowers and grass, with a few cube fragments. In Season 7, Sergeant Winter and his army invade the island, representing the force of the Ice King from the Ice Moon. I should specify this group was hinted at earlier, but I didn't really see it needed to be talked about until now. As they invade, they bring a snow-covered area to the island, which includes places like Frosty Flights and a giant iceberg known as Polar Peak. Inside Polar Peak sits Frozen, the Ice King. As the season progresses, the ice melts with winter passing. The Ice King wakes up, along with another still trapped inside the ice biome. The Ice King acquires a shard of the Cube, using it to cover the entire island, with snow leading to snowstorms and ice monsters everywhere. As the snow melts again and the season ends, the prisoner, previously frozen, is released. The prisoner would begin to break free from his chains, causing earthquakes that would leave fissures in the ground, one of which destroys News HQ in Tilted Towers. Season 8 starts with the prisoner creating a volcano inside a new jungle on the island. With the constant change of the island, the government begins looking for the vault, which is a place that contains the 0 point as well as an artificial the in-between. Later in the season, the loopers uncover and open the vault. While the unvaulting was happening, the prisoner erupts the volcano, magma destroying Retail Row and Tilted Towers, causing a huge crack to Polar Peak. The Ice King had to stop the prisoner, eventually freezing them once again underwater, and then returning to the Ice Moon. Season 9 starts with a story about two characters during the violent eruption caused by the prisoner. I actually had a whole script part for this, but I like the cutscene so much that I'm just gonna play that and then I'll just continue after that. Alright? Good. Eventually, Sentinel opens the bunker, welcoming Jonesy and somehow still alive Peely into the brand new Neo Tilted. With Tilted Towers and Retail Row destroyed, the survivors created Neo Tilted and Mega Mall, using the energy from the Vault to power both towns. The now dormant volcano housed a new location, Pressure Plant. Loopers soon discovered that inside Polar Peak, something strange was frozen in the ice, what can only be described as a monster. Later through the season, the monster breaks out, the Devourer. This large creature destroys nearby locations, eventually carrying Polar Peak on its back and escaping into the ocean. However, the Loopers have been preparing. Across the island, under Pressure Plant, a team has been hard at work. They were creating a giant mecha, bear mecha? Whatever you would like to describe it as. Once it's complete, the Paradigm is allowed to pilot the mech to challenge the Devourer. The day came. The fight caused the destruction of many buildings. Eventually, the Devourer had removed an arm from Mecha. While Mecha is still recovering, the Devourer sprints towards the vault. Before it could succeed, however, Mecha blows the Devourer away. Mecha itself reached into the vault and took out the 0 point, cracking it to release power into itself. With this power, Mecha reaches into Neo Tilted for the Statue of Singularity, turning it into a giant sword. The Devourer and Mecha charge at one another, ending with a sword through the Devourer's head, killing it. With Mecha's victory, they fly off to the Ice Moon. However, the now cracked 0 point was left in the vault, becoming more unstable. Season X? Season 10? I have heard it called both. The 0 point becomes fully unstable, releasing a reality wave, which converts Dusty Divot back into Dusty Depot. The reality wave explosion is stopped, as it is frozen by the arrival of the Scientist's meteor just above Dusty Depot. The Scientist makes a workstation at the now formed Dusty Depot. They create rift beacons that go around the island, causing small rifts, which swap the location on the island with another alternate reality counterpart. These changed such things as returning Neo Tilted back to Tilted Town, Mega Mall into Retail Row, and many more. The Scientist builds a rocket at Dusty Depot, launching it at the frozen meteor in the sky. Along with the rocket the scientists created, 6 more rockets appear from the small rift zones that he created earlier, also headed towards the frozen meteor, all of which create a rift over Loot Lake, pushing the meteor into it. With this sudden explosion, all the loopers are launched into the sky, sucked into the rift, into nothing. Thank you so much for watching. So I didn't plan on making a series for this, but it turns out that Fortnite has a lot of story, so I guess I'll be breaking this into parts. If you enjoyed, awesome. I put a lot of work into just this one episode, so hopefully the future parts will be good, if not better. Again, thank you so much for watching.